Good day, friend. Thanks for joining me again for this time of facing our fears and exploring our inner depths. I hope that this process doesn't feel so painful as hitting your own head with a wrench to end up at the bottom of the ocean, but maybe it does. And if it does, then an extra thank you to you for sticking with this. But for many of us, even with something as simple as focusing on the breath, meditating can be kind of scary or uncomfortable. It requires us to lower a good deal of our defenses. We are often more acclimated to going through our day one event after another, letting our mind go to wherever it takes us. And we often pass judgment on ourselves and our thoughts. But meditation invites us to put that aside, to just be present, to experience reality on reality's terms, which can sound really horrifying and daunting, particularly in a world that I think for many of us appears increasingly unhinged and perhaps untrustworthy. So it may seem simple, but encountering yourself in meditation, breath by breath, and feeling into your body is actually a tremendously brave thing for one to do. And you don't have to overcome your fears entirely in order to do this. You can accept that there is difficulty or friction. You can welcome those parts of yourself. Often, the impulse to move out of our bodies and into our minds, or to respond fearfully to our circumstances, are the consequences of trauma and past difficulties. We perceive the environment around us as threatening, even if in this moment, everything is perfectly fine. Because before this moment, we have experienced how difficult and scary life can be. Some of us more than others, but we've all experienced this. In this way, our fear response, as frustrating as it may be, as closed off as it may make us, is actually a coping mechanism that has served us well at some point in the past. It is our body and mind trying to keep us safe from reality. And it's actually really good at that. Humans are incredibly resilient in that way. But for many of us, these coping mechanisms stack up, and it can soon feel like we're fighting ourselves, like we're out of control, like we're too caught up in anxiety and fear and trauma to be present for our lives and the people we love in the ways we would like to be. And I don't believe that meditation alone can undo all of this, at least not for all of us, and certainly not overnight. But I do think it can help us to become more aware of it. And in my experience, it can actually undo a good bit of it. And meditation can also lead us to other strategies for healing, somatics, therapy, any number of things. But it's important that we allow our defenses to drop on the timetable that they would like to. Hitting ourselves over the head, or denying the reality of our fears, or pulling all our determination to the front to try to overcome them, risks re-inscribing trauma. You may overcome your fear in the short term, but if that short-term overcoming crosses a line from challenging to outright harmful, then the process of healing can be set back. This isn't intended to scare you, simply to encourage you to listen to your body. If the breath is too triggering for you, try touch points. If a particular meditation is super painful, feel free to skip it. If meditation in general is not helping create a change that is welcome, then put it down and try something else, or try again later. This is not to suggest that the process should be exclusively rosy. Indeed, opening to painful feelings and learning to be present for them is a part of any healing process. And oftentimes, as things begin to shift inside us and in our perspective, they can feel uncomfortable or challenging or painful before they begin to resolve. Because we become more attentive to our lives through meditation, we also become more attentive to the pain and difficulty in our lives. We aren't just opening up to the bliss. We can't. But we also gain greater perspective, more space for all our feelings, a more acute understanding that all of our feelings change and pass, good and bad. So there is a fine line between challenging but constructive and too painful and traumatic. Only you can decide what this is, but I encourage you to be gracious with yourself. You don't have to do this perfectly, and you can't know all of your boundaries without exploring them. Whatever you experience, remember that you are not alone, and there are many other resources for support if ultimately you decide that this feels too much like knocking yourself unconscious just to face your fear. And as our episode reminds us, we don't have to overcome all our fears to be heroic, to be a source of good and light, or to be worthy of love from ourselves and those around us. The best you can do is enough, and it's a wonderful gift to yourself, to those around you, to me, and to the world. So let's get started. Begin by bringing your attention to the body posture, finding that balance of alert and relaxed, whatever feels right for you. And make sure you're as comfortable as you reasonably can be. Comfort is important. Your eyes can be closed or open, but if they're open, just let them be slightly open. Find a point in front of you, maybe a couple feet away on the ground if you're sitting, or somewhere on the ceiling or sky if you're lying down. And then let your gaze go. Take a few deep breaths, control your breathing, and as you do, bring a bit more alertness to your body on the inhale, and a bit more relaxation on the exhale. Your jaw can soften, the space around your eyes. Let your shoulders drop a millimeter. Great. Let your exhale become a little bit longer than your inhale, and just check in with your body. See if there's anywhere else you might be carrying tension that is willing to relax if you just notice it and give it permission. You don't need to force it, only if it wants to release. Otherwise, just notice it. Maybe there's nowhere in particular. Maybe you feel pretty relaxed all over, or you just can't really tell. That's okay too. Just feel into whatever relaxation is present, letting your body be heavy. Wonderful. A couple more deep breaths, and then just let your breath be natural. Invite your attention to gather wherever you feel the sensation of breath most strongly. Maybe as the rush of air coming in and out of your nostrils. Maybe the expansion and contraction of your chest. Maybe as the ballooning of your belly. There's no right or wrong answer, just wherever you locate that feeling of breath in your body. And if you're not working with the breath, locate the touch points where your body is in contact with the ground or with another part of your body. Or pay attention to sounds or your heartbeat. Whatever body sensation feels strongest and safest to you, and just let your attention rest there. Let it hold you. Let it hold you like a child. Good. You're doing great. No getting this wrong. Just gathering your attention at your point of focus and relaxing there. Your mind will wander, and that's okay. Doesn't matter where it wandered to or how long it's dwelled there. When you notice it's wandered, let go as gently as possible and bring it back. If it feels right, you can introduce some counting with it, one breath at a time. Inhale, exhale, 1. Inhale, exhale, 2. Most of your attention is still on the feeling of the breath. Maybe 70% of your attention is on the breath, and just 30% or less on the numbers. You note the numbers silently, to yourself, and gently. The goal is not to keep counting. The focus is on the breath. But the numbers can help support your mind in staying anchored. If you get to 10, start again at 1. If you don't get to 10, that's perfectly fine. Start again at 1 as many times as you need. Anytime you notice that your attention has gone entirely away from the breath. If your attention gets pulled away slightly, but you're still mostly with the breath, when you notice that, just bring it back. If you get lost entirely, that's okay. When you notice you're distracted, that's an opportunity, a chance to be different with yourself. Rather than getting angry or frustrated, you just gently let go with as much kindness to yourself as possible and begin again. Inhale, exhale, 1. Inhale, exhale, 2. If you're not working with the breath, you can add a number wherever it feels right, after every touch point, or maybe after every 2 or 3. Or if you're working with sound, just every couple of seconds when you've kept your focus on the sounds. The numbers, how high we get when we say them to ourselves, are not important. They're just a tool to help the mind stay a bit more engaged. And it can feel good to recognize that you're counting higher, that your concentration is growing. But this will happen at its own pace, on its own time, and not in any linear way. So be gentle, be slow, be relaxed. Your attention is mostly with your object of focus, and then slightly on the numbers if they help support the concentration. If not, just go back to the breath. You can start over as many times as you need. 1,000,000 times. The mind will wander. That's what it does. Concentration is built in the process of letting go, in beginning again. Inhale, exhale. one breath at a time, one moment at a time. See if you can feel just one full breath, one full inhale and exhale, from the beginning through the middle to the end. Just this one breath. And then another. And another. All right, that's a wrap. In any given day, our attention is pulled in countless directions by all kinds of stimulus and distraction. The ability to stay concentrated is not about ignoring all those things or numbing out, but about recognizing when our attention has been pulled away and letting go as gently as we can and beginning again. Over time, our ability to stay focused will grow. We will become less distracted. But this happens more quickly the kinder we are to ourselves. So treat yourself with kindness somehow for showing up for yourself today to this meditation and for at least 15 times before this. You're doing a fabulous job, and I am so grateful for you. Till next adventure time.